Hello people, how are we? A second. This, before I even go anywhere, the Flat Earth Experts on Facebook is just run by the same troll groups that have been running the majority of some of these sites on Facebook. They're absolute clowns. I've posted this in their forum, whatever the fuck it is. So I expect Brian Niven or Ebo Carden or one of these absolute clowns, Andy Blanchfield. I mean, some of these people probably have 5, 6, 7, 8 fucking different accounts, but they're mouthy and they hide on Facebook and they try and badger people on Facebook. So they've been called, we'll give them the open platform and see if any of them are brave enough to come on here and spout their utter lunacy about fucking plastic globes and cartoons. No. Tonight we shall be ripping the pish right out of the globe, and any clown who wants to come here with sophism and illogical nonsense to try and represent it. Anybody is welcome. Please bring it. We need some entertainment. We need some more material to ridicule and laugh at. I'm only joking. I shall be civil. I shall be open-minded. Logical as always, awaiting your measurable proofs for the nature-defying space testicle. So if you're new to this, Flat Earth is an ongoing investigation. It does not mean a cartoon pizza box or a pizza fucking dish. You need to get real and give yourself a shake from the delusion. You are suffering from religious control, religious indoctrination and religious programming. Okay, these ideas have been pumped into you. They've been put out there into the media, into every facet of your life, in order to make you ridicule it and think that, you know, flat earth is preposterous, but yet living on a dangly testicle is quite fine. Dangly testicle with vast oceans, curving, convex bodies of water, clunky, said, you know, dangly testicle. Right? You don't live there. Here, it's just people who focus on the claim. The rest of it is an ongoing investigation. None of us know what the full dimensions are. We do not know what the heavens, the stars, the moon and the sun are. Nobody does. Only religious people who have stories and fables. You know, they believe it. They want to believe it. They think they have certainty and they repeat it and spout it. Nobody knows what these things are. They are visible objects in the sky. Right? We don't have any actual substance to them. We don't know what they are. We live here on Earth. We're trying to establish what the full dimensions is here. This is where we all live. This is when you make claims, things need to be testable, measurable, repeatable, observable, here on Earth. That's why if you go and look at your globe, it's made of plastic. So, just to be, you know, open, we're going to dedicate this evening to any globe person who thinks they can provide proof that it's indeed a sphere. We know it's not going to happen, but I'm just going to, you know, give the offer there every now and again just to let them know that the option's always there. They don't need to hide. They don't need to badger people in groups like Facebook. If they really have science the way they profess, they can come here and share it with us. So, again, if you're new, you know, we don't know what the full dimensions are, but it certainly ain't no fucking nature-defying testicle. I can guarantee you that. Right? We're talking about actual science. We're talking about actual substance. The science, the technology, your house, the technologies within your home, the things that you take for granted every day, the clothes you wear, the shoes you put on, the car you drive, the bicycle you go on, these things are based on a scientific understanding of actual substance that are then applied and used in everyday life. Right? The globe wants you to ignore your common sense, everyday practical experiences of reality, and it wants you to favour long-winded tales and stories and excuses like, oh, we can't show you these things because Earth gets in the way, we need to leave Earth, therefore my images. It's a religion, and it's so blatantly transparent. It baffles me that people are still actually trying to cling to it. It tells you, especially with these groups on places like Facebook, it's the same accounts that have been prominent for the last 3 years, right? These are no people who have an honest opinion. It's about objective truth. There's no opinions, they don't count, right? These people are there claiming that they're saving the world from crazy mad people who say the Earth's not a globe, at the same time claiming we're a minority of crazies, yet they're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 3 years, right? It's because the religion is starting to crumble. The lie is crumbling. The globe is dead, and they are desperately trying to keep it quiet. So, here, when we talk about science, we're talking about natural science. We're not talking about formal sciences, languages. They don't prove anything. Substance proves things to be objectively true, right? So when people make claims to me that the Earth's a globe, and I go out and I don't find any measurable curvature, everywhere I look, it's flat. Or, you know, oceans and rivers are running up and round curves, and rivers are bent round curves, and oceans are bent round curves with big humps in the middle. That's a claim about objective reality. So I expect to be able to go and recreate or see that, test it somewhere. But we don't. Liquids do not have the capability to support themselves as to display convexity upon their surface or any other shape upon their surface. Water has been used and applied in everyday life for however many number of years to construct, to build canals, to whatever. It is an accurate tool. It can be relied upon and used to establish level. Therefore, water does not have any form. It will take the shape of its container. If it is contained and the water is not flowing anywhere, you know it's contained and it's level. It has found its level. Therefore, the oceans don't flow anywhere. Oh, well, guess what? They're contained bodies of water. No water stuck to the outside of a globe, which defies everyday practical reality, every observation and test. Right? But these are substances, these are facts of everyday objective reality that the globe wants to ignore. They want to keep diverting to, where does the sun go at night? What is the sun? Where's the stars and the moon? When they don't even fucking live up there. They live here on Earth. That's the question. What's the shape of the Earth? The minute I want to know what the shape of the sky is, or what these luminaries are in the sky, I will go and ask one of these storytellers, astrophysicists, whatever the fuck you want to call them, amateur astronomers. If I want to hear tales of the lights in the sky, then I'll go and ask them that. But when we're talking about the shape of the Earth that we stand upon, that we live on, that we wake up to every single day, then that's what we focus on. Right? I want to thank Eric Dubai for uploading the Eddie Bravo thing. It's much appreciated, Eric. And again, the ongoing support of real people and activism is very telling for anybody who's any doubts about who anybody is involved in this whole shenanigans. Right? I can only judge people by the walk. Right? No interest in personalities, what colour of hair they've got, how tall they are, how thin they are, whatever. Right? So when I see people who are pushing for real truth and they promote and push real people with activism and people who have got something to say, then that tells me everything I need to know. So again, I just want to thank Eric for it. And again, I'll thank Eddie Bravo for inviting us on and giving us the opportunity to speak and let our message be heard. So
Right, I'll second that.
Oh, Gareth, how you doing, man? Man Marshall, I didn't realise you were there.
How you doing, Dale?
All right.
I'm good. Hi, Marshall. Hello, everybody in the chat listening.
Evening, Gav. You're still getting a hell of a lot of feedback there, dude. You got headphones or something?
I've not even been to the chat box. Hello, everybody.
How's that, Marshall?
Yeah, cool as fuck now, dude.
Must be something.
So, as I say, I just want to remind people that these groups, one in particular that's called the Flat Earth Experts on Facebook, that is run by these trolls, these organised groups who have been prominent within this whole thing since the off. Right? It's still the same ones, and they just switch up their accounts, they create new ones. So the link's been sent to them, they will not show. That tells you that they're no honest people looking for objective truth. They're only there to try and sway you by manipulation. Right? If there's anybody there who wants to prove that it's a globe, please send an email to nocurve@gmx.com and you will be sent the link. So Gav, what's happening?
Oh, tonight's the night. They're all going to come tonight. They're going to show us bendy water and bendy granite and everything else.
Aye.
I can just feel it.
Aye.
They're going to put us out of their misery.
Granite is bendy, but I need to leave Earth in order to show you, therefore, pictures.
Well, I really do hope somebody comes along and tries to, or brings whatever he has to the table.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a fit.
2 years. 2 years still? More?
Nothing. The only thing we get is the same old sophist nonsense.
No.
I can envisage this being a short night.
Yeah, if nobody shows, we'll just have an early one, eh?
Just ridicule it. That was the other thing I wanted to mention quick, sorry, before we go any further. I seen a wee video earlier, and I think, what was the channel name? It was quite interesting for anybody who's interested in this. It was a channel called The Potter's Clay, and he has done a video in regards to the eclipse and some of the claims that were made about the eclipse. Now, the mainstream, gave reasons for why the shadow would only be 70 miles across. Now, the channel user Potter's Clay has highlighted that in regards to the distance, then, the globe, the heliocentrists will try and say that on a lunar eclipse, the Earth's shadow is being cast upon the moon's surface, but yet it's no smaller in proportions, but yet it's the same distance. It's still the 238,000 miles away from Earth. So if it works one way, it should be working the other way when it's not. So it was a really good point that was made in that, for me, to be honest with you. So again, it's the Potter's Clay, and the video is, it looks like the globe is having eclipse problems. For anybody that's interested.
Oh, it sounds interesting. I'll have a look at that.
So we will just hang about and wait to see if we get any requests. But I think you were going to show a couple of wee bits, Gav,
I thought I'd just, maybe recap some of the stuff that we've done a little bit visually as well. 10 minutes or something. Maybe give the Glober something to get their teeth into, Maybe they'll trust themselves. Maybe it'll say something where they can, get in about it. So.
Sweet.
Why don't we just go for it, aye? Just share my screen.
Aye. Carry on, mate.
All right. Before I start, just a wee thanks to Glenn. He took some of my scribbles here and made some nice diagrams, which I'm going to use. So let me just put it in here in a bigger mode so that it's big enough. Can everybody see that? Is it big enough? Eh?
Just going to click you so that it stops moving away.
Right, sound. Maybe I was just going to sort of again highlight the difference between tangibles and visibles for people. What it's about. So this little RT in the corner here is the real tangible world. This is a sentient being. That means me and you. Guys with heartbeats, emotions, sentiments, impressions, and eyes to have a look at stuff. And the 3D tangible space that we live in is full of physical objects, things, right? Things of substance. And if you like, you know, this little guy here is seeing objects. There's a couple I've drawn here, a pyramid and a cube and a sphere, you know, just for examples. And that's what usually we learn as 3D Euclidean geometry, you know, the Euclidean world that we live in. And, you know, reality is, in fact, you know, we can walk around in a real situation. We've all got eyes and we can look at stuff. And the main difference here is that we can walk around these objects and see them from all kinds of different angles and things like that. And obviously we can touch them, smell them, you know. All our physical senses are involved in here. And, you know, I think it's pretty important to note that this is, in fact, nature. It's something everybody can observe. It's timeless in that respect, is that it's common to all mankind, past and present. You know, it's what we all can relate to. It's what we've all seen. It's what your parents and your grandparents have seen. And it all has to do with the common sense and the self-evident truths that we, you know, see every day and experience every day. Light and water seem to be, you know, major parts of this reality, right? The place is covered in water. We're mostly water. And light seems to be one of the things, or the absence of light and light seems to be one of the main things that we can all experience. And the tangible world is, as we've repeated many a time, measurable, repeatable, testable. Yeah. And a direct realist, or the direct realism, is somebody who understands those things, that these are real things. Yeah. I'm going to make a couple of connections to geometry here, just to show the point, in case where we start talking about mathematical definitions. But what everybody understands is this 3D Cartesian box, or these three perpendicular axes, is what we would call the Cartesian system, and it's the geometry of tangible physical things and substances. Yeah. Now, in direct opposition to that, there's something that is also real, which is called our visible space. So when we look at things, we actually see things, the signs of those objects. So the objects over here that we see from a specific viewpoint, like a pyramid or a cube or a sphere, will appear to us on our so-called visible space. Our visual sphere is basically how we see the world. Yeah, the visible figure and extension. If you imagine yourself to be at the center of this sphere, then you see those objects like that in your visual space. Yeah, and those are what we would call objects of sight. And objects of sight are things that are only signs of the real things that they signify. So depending on how this little guy walks about, he's going to see different figures and shapes in his visual perception. Yeah, he's going to see them maybe change in shape a little bit as he walks around them, and those different shapes are the things that make visible space completely different from tangible space. You know, and when tangible space, we actually know the real dimensions of these objects and we can measure them. Whereas in visible space, if things are completely changing their shape and extension, i.e. their magnitude in some direction, then, you know, that's not something that stays consistent. But at the same time, visible space is something real, because even if you're not there to see it, these visible objects are there. If any other eye goes to that position, it will also see it. So these visible objects depend on the tangible objects, and one doesn't come without the other. Yeah, but they're still independent of us, because they depend only on the objects and the situation of an eye looking at them. Yeah, it's not as if these things are only in our heads or anything like that. Yeah. And the other one that's very clear is these planar representations. This is what we get bombarded with all day, right? We get bombarded with pictures, with windows, with papers, with displays, tablets, magazines, where we're actually just seeing a planar representation of something. Now, that is pictorial perspective. Globers like to think that flat earthers have no clue about perspective, but that is far from the case. What they usually show is some dumbed down representation of perspective. So when we're bombarded with things like this all the time, what we tend not to notice is that our actual visual experience is actually this one. This is our original perception, how we see things, but we've been conditioned to think, and that's why I've called it here acquired perception, that we see things in planar representations, but that's not true, yeah? And I'll get into that in a little bit more detail, but basically these perspective planes, these pictures that they show us, these images on photos or any of these surfaces that I've listed here, if you do them sequentially, one after the other, then you end up with motion pictures, right? And Hollywood, and if you play them fast enough, it will look like motion. And at the same time, if you put a whole bunch of planes together and then roll them all up, then what you've really got is a cylinder, the same way you would have a paper scroll in the old days, yeah? And they actually call that, you know, like you've got the film in the can, yeah? And it's a film roll, yeah? So what I'm trying to highlight here is the differences between pictorial perspective, 2D planar, the original perception, how we actually see, this is what I call natural perspective, yeah? And the 3D real physical world in which we live, yeah? And there's a certain, how should I say, connection between these different geometries. So the physical world which we live in is the 3D Cartesian one. The spherical world of visibles, right? Because our eye is curved, and that's where the curve is, yeah? Is spherical geometry. And the 2D pictorial perspectives are basically planar geometry. And those things are actually connected, all these three. So you can go from one coordinate system here to the other two with a fairly simple transformation. Anybody can Wikipedia that if you just look at coordinate transformations, it's called. So that you can basically jump between these three different coordinate systems fairly easy. And one thing I'd like to highlight is something that used to be called astral geometry. People like Gauss, the man who invented the curvature, and Schwickart and Wachsmuth and Taurinus and other people, a lot of Germans in there, they actually called this astral geometry because it was the foundation of all three of those geometric representations. And that's why you can jump between one or the other fairly simply, yeah? One thing I want to highlight as well is that any measurement that you make depends on the assumed geometry that you make, yeah? So, you know, in a tangible world, I think we already talked about this, that lines are measured by lines, surfaces by surfaces, and solids by solids, and we use things like rulers. But if you do different definitions and axioms in mathematics, then you can also redefine a straight line to be the arc segment of a great circle, yeah? And that you can then define also that parallel lines actually meet at 2 points. So like the longitudinal lines on a globe. And this change from one to the other is purely a matter of definitions and axioms, right? There's nothing else that, you know, is involved here for a mathematician. And if he believes in his definitions and axioms, then he'll go on to believe other things, yeah? But important for me is just to point out that there's this difference between visibles and tangibles. There's a geometrical connection to spherical geometry that's never talked about in mathematics. And I'm trying to highlight it here, that people, you know, look at it and study this more. And then the normal pictorial perspective, which we're bombarded with on a daily basis, yeah, which is basically pulling our attention away from understanding that these two are the real way the world works, yeah, and the way we have visual perception, yeah. And maybe just one last thing it's important here. We don't attend to the way that we see these things. Normally when we see things quickly, we're so focused on the tangible object that we don't really think or notice that that's the way we see things. So we basically just jump to the thing signified by it, or we're getting, you know, completely bamboozled with pictures. And this is what I think people need to look at more, especially academics, and where I'd like to pull attention to and what I'm researching together with some friends, Glenn included. And the main thing is that I think if people realize that this is only all mathematical definitions that they like to play with to show us curves, that there's more to this than meets the eye, so to speak. And I'll be putting this little, overview. Maybe we can link it into this Hangout, Dale, so that people can download it and just have a look at it. It's just one page that tries to give people an overview of the things that need to be looked at from my point of view, at least, anyway. Yeah.
And that's an important point you're making there. That mathematicians, if you believe these axioms, and then it can carry on forward, which negates this whole everybody would have to be in on it and everybody would have to be actively lying, which is total bullshit.
Yep, absolutely. If you think these axioms are correct, and that this represents a globe and not your eye, then people will go away thinking, yeah, right, that's all true. Yeah. And maybe just to make it simple for people tonight, I just thought, there's maybe one thing that they could also do if they can't bring any proof is maybe they can come in and actually give us their definition of what level is and definition of what horizon is. Because as far as I'm concerned, both of these things are intuitive, right? Level is the state that water takes, or any fluid takes in a container, and not it's not a curved surface around a ball, so maybe they can come in and explain in normal words what they actually mean by level and defend that rationale as to why we should call level the curved surface round a ball. I mean, if they were going to speak properly, then they should call it curvevel or something like that, right? But not misappropriate the word that everybody instinctively knows what level is. And the other word that I think is important is horizon, right? What is meant by our horizon? As far as I'm concerned, it's the parallel plane that goes through my eyes that is parallel to the level water. And if they come and want to talk about astronomical horizon, geometrical horizon, all the different variations they have, then I'd like to hear their rationale behind why we should misappropriate that word to mean something that mathematicians think is correct, but what is in normal absolute language self-evident to everybody else. What level is and why the horizon rises to the level of your eyes. It depends only on your altitude. So maybe that's just a little bit of food for them to come and try and attack. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Excellent. Stop.
Well, you're right. I've seen that again today. Level is equal distance from the centre of the sphere and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, where's the actual substance that we understand? You can see clearly that they're pulling this mathematical bollocks.
Yep.
And redefining what level means. Yep.
And it's intuitive to everybody what level is, There's no need for them. I mean, it's actually preposterous to say that level is that curved surface that goes all the way around a ball. I mean, it's laughable. It's preposterous. So I'd like to hear the rationale for why we should believe that and not our own common sense.
Well, hopefully we're going to find out. I think Marshall just messaged there saying somebody wants to talk globe, so we'll see what they've got to say. The other point I just want to touch on is, again, I'm seeing it creeping in, this whole subjective and objective, and people still spouting reality's subjective. Well, there's two separate things going on for me. There's your subjective experience of reality, and there is actual reality that is what it is, regardless of what anybody wants to wish or believe or think. It's a total nonsense. And the way you can prove that is just as you say, people can see objects, visibles, and think that they're a shape that they're not. But it being an actual tangible, every point of that substance is a definite form to it, that everybody's subject to. It doesn't change from one person to the next. It is actually there. There just has to be a separation with people in this understanding of what they're talking about with subjective. Your interpretations and your feelings and how, as I made the point in one of the street interviews, the granite block is a granite block. It's subjectively true and it is there, and it's going to crack your fucking skull regardless of what anybody believes. But you might prefer granite. You might like the feeling of granite. You might like the coldness of it. You might like it hot. You might like... These are what the subjective parts are. But that has been, meshed together, and it's confusing people. And people are caught up in this spirituality, this new age bollocks about everything's just subjective in your mind. You need to let that go. There's a separation, you know. Smoochies. Smoochies. We're all jealous. It's not even listening. So apparently we've got some globe people who are wanting to come in and have a chat. Let's see what they've got to say.
I'll get the links out to Random Tandems when you're ready, dude.
Is that the name? I thought you just meant Random Tandems as in random peoples.
No. That's his moniker, mate.
Well,
and there's a few others in the chat that aren't taking up the offer.
None of them ever do, because they're waffling utter shit, you know, and they only seek safety in the anonymity of their sock account. You know, they've not got anything to offer. But Marshall, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be on the spot and give us a song with 2 seconds.
Marshall, will we have some singing lessons then?
I am taking singing lessons, and I've actually, at this point, I've been offered some studio time. You'd be happy to know. So, you know, maybe not this evening, but pretty soon, I think you're going to hear something coming from my end.
Cool.
There's a tease for everyone. How about that?
We're intrigued now, Marshall.
Gav, if you've got the time, drop me that.
Yep.
That file that you just had, and I'll put it on a temporary file share for people this evening because they're asking in chat.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Mr. Nobody 808, the offer does extend to you as well, sir. If you want to join the panel this evening and defend your fantasy, then you're more than welcome. West Coast Wisdom, yeah, space. It's the latest imagery from the Himawari 8. I thought people might have actually recognised it. I thought I'd champion that in my as my wallpaper this evening. Well, Mr. Nobody, I mean, like I say, I mean, the floor is open for any globe believer this evening to come on and state their case. Perhaps maybe even be convinced that they're in error. You never know. Come try it out. It's the stony silence, Gav, isn't it? You can just see the tumbleweeds going past there, you know?
Yeah.
What? Who, me? No, I can't do that.
I sent you that pic, Marshall, just to No Curve at GMX.
All right, cool.
Let me know you've got it.
We got a bit of a lag on the GMX, mate. So it might be a minute or two. I'm sure it'll come through. I'll just explain it to them all, Dal. I'm nearly finished with these singing lessons, and we have been offered some studio time. So there's going to be something forthcoming from this end pretty soon, as far as the entertainment side of things is concerned. We're still waiting on Random Tandems, and there's a few others in the chat that are proactively refusing to join, although they're very vociferous in text form.
Well,
nothing
what's
new
the
there.
problem? They want to hide in these chat boxes. I mean, what's the big deal? If you're going to...
We're just normal guys, eh?
Mm-hmm.
We take down our trousers to shit like everybody else.
Speak for yourself. The other question was, though, are you opening the phone line for the similar purpose?
Well, on phones, not really, to be honest with you.
Right, so no phone this evening, peeps, but the floor is open for all globists who want to come in and...
I'm having to actually... The problem I've got right now is I'm having to charge my phone because, you know, I don't know if I need to pick my daughter up later. I don't want this to run out. So I'll give this 10 minutes to charge up a bit, and then I'll put the other phone on. But right now it's off.
Right. Okay.
Doesn't have a charge on it.
All right, dude. Well, I'm gonna nip off and organise this this file download for Gav, so just people in the chat can get that file this evening. Obviously, it'll be linked after the show anyway, but it'll be available from the chat box as of about 5 minutes. Okay.
Next one.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Going up in Texas, you all should have Eddie Bravo, and well, I didn't. The invitation's there to Eddie. So, and anybody else who wants to come and take part, I'm looking for these Globe disciples.
Yeah, what about Brenda? What about Brenda? I thought Brenda always wanted to come.
I know, but Brenda's tetchy. I think Brenda just likes to do it on her own back, you know. I'm really scanning. Hello, everybody else in chat here. I'm just having a quick scan to see where these Globe people are. I'm not seeing any. Oh, there's one there. Hercules, son of Zeus, beyond belief. What happens if you hold a marble, football, Zurb under a stream of water? The bigger the ball, the better the water will stick to the globe. What? Gravity. If you hold a ball under a stream of water, the water runs off it. As I said at the beginning of this, Gav, you know, it really is at that point, and you said it as well, it's just totally laughable. It's such utter lunacy and ridiculousness. It's just beyond belief. It really is beyond belief.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. To say, I just can't wait to hear the rationale as to why level has been redefined and why we should really believe it. You know, I mean, that's one of the biggest things for me. You know, take away the substance and we can just define it to be a curved path round the ball. Yeah, brilliant. You know, well, that makes the maths work, but it doesn't make it fucking real. Yeah.
2 seconds.
Marshall, I saw you posted that link. It worked for me. I just tried it out.
Yeah, it's cool. People are taking it up in chat, dude. I'll post it periodically through the evening so nobody misses out. And like I said, we'll drop a link in the playback as well. So, I mean, I think it's part of a more substantial presentation that's already in video form, isn't it?
Yeah. It was just actually some scribbles that I'd done, you know, months ago, kind of style, and wanted to. So it's a kind of an overview of the stuff that I'm looking into. So, yeah, if it helps people, I'm not, you know, saying it's 100% right or anything. It's just the research and direction that I'm looking at all these things at and trying to unravel the mathematical trickery that's in there and sophistry.
Yeah,
with,
for sure.
Helps other people.
More eyes on, mate. I mean, we'll get a clearer picture as time passes, won't we? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if there's anybody out there, maybe I can make a little appeal. One of the things that I'm not very knowledgeable about at all is, you know, how cameras work and things like that. So if there's anybody out there who wants to collaborate and get me up to speed on how these things work better, I'd quite like a little bit of help. So maybe I could just make an appeal.
Yeah, if anybody's there. Then everybody else in chat, I'm not ignorant, or I'm not ignoring these. I'm just going to focus on some of this globe idiocy as it comes at me. So we've got Dabs for days. You guys are so confident the Earth is a plane. Well, hell, convince me, because I've heard most of the arguments. Well, Dabs for days, what are you talking about with arguments? if you're getting involved in arguments, you're listening to people with fucking ideas. We're talking about objective reality, claims being shown practically. Right? Stop being a fucking lazy son of a bitch and go and turn your fucking tap on and test the water. See for yourself how it behaves. Don't listen to us. And then see if you can rewire your dysfunctional fucking brain to still convince yourself that you live on the exterior of a fucking blue testicle. Right? That's these words. I've heard most of the arguments. Well, if you listen to arguments, you're a fucking moron, because it's not about arguing. Yep. We can argue ideas till we're blue in the face if you like, but we're pretty much interested in objective facts, what the objective reality is. No your fucking derpy ideas. The reason you're getting involved in arguments is because the globe is an idea. It's a religious idea. It's hogwash.
Yep, arguments for defending ideologies. Sorry, Dale, I didn't want to break your stride.
Right, I've not got any fucking patience for it anymore. It's so infuriating. These clowns that just don't get it.
Yep. I'm nearly itching for a fight tonight.
I don't know what the hold up is. I thought they'd have been fucking climbing over each other to come in and prove to us.
I've got another request from somebody that's on the fence at the moment. But like I say, Random Tandems, your link is out. I haven't seen you reply in the chat box to suggest that you haven't received it. And as for the others, well, you know, you can yap away in there if you like, but obviously people are going to pay less attention to you as your credibility wanes. So yeah, Dale, I mean, I'll hold. Well, should we hold on any longer for Random, or do you want?
Random's got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Here we've got somebody else. Lord B can't have an objective view about this if you're biased to one side. On one hand, we can't say Earth is definitely a globe, and on the other, we can't say it's flat. There is no bias here. We're not on any side. We're on the side of objective facts. It's been stated here over and over and over and over that we do not subscribe to any particular model. It's an investigation in order to try and discover what the full dimensions are. But I can tell you that whatever the container or whatever it is, the full dimensions, that it is a container because it's filled with fucking water. That's based on objective facts yet again. It's not a bias. It's not a wish or a belief. It's a fact of reality. A fact. Now deal with it. I've no patience for people who can't face what the actual reality is that they're living in.
Yeah, I can only concur. The same thing again. I keep saying, you know, you can argue from facts against a hypothesis, but you can't argue from hypothesis against the facts, you know.
Yeah.
That is not even science.
No.
So
exactly.
Let's start with the facts. The facts are that water is level. It always is, as long as it's not flowing. So how can it curve? Anything that contradicts that fact cannot be correct because it's a fact known to all of us. So we're not here defending any ideologies or debating. It's, yeah, natural science. Bring it on.
Vijam Rasmussen, hi guys, the curvature of Earth is approximately inches per mile. What about the squared part of that? Is it a slope we're living on now? The reason you can observe objects that are beyond the curvature is because of the diffraction of light in the atmosphere. Comments?
Yeah. They usually add, I think it's about 17% the average that light's supposed to bend round for refraction. But,
Yeah.
you know, that in no way at all accounts for these, you know, things where mountains are visible where they shouldn't be and lighthouses are visible where they shouldn't be. So it's just a false argument to prop up their globe.
And it just comes right back to again how anybody can go, you know, I don't think they're just all lazy or they'll just all get blinkers on. Go and test liquid, any fucking liquid you like, and note that it does not fucking display convexity or shapes upon its surface. You can't wrap bodies of water, run shapes and expect it to stay there. It's preposterous. Right? So I don't even know what you're going on about. Oh, diffraction and things bending around the curve. It's not a fucking curve. There's no bar. Things are being obscured due to perspective. Things are being obscured because of the heavy moisture content that's in the air from one day to the next, which is why you can take a certain position somewhere and watch through the seasons, and each day different weather systems, how your visual distance varies, right?
I'll be back in a sec, my man.
No problems, mate. You unbelief, get in here, globe cult believers, and ask your priest to follow you. Well, again, you know, they've been offered the links. They're probably sitting in the link waiting to fucking snipe because that's all they've got, right? Or some other pseudoscience fucking gobbledygook. My images in my plastic globes, fuck physics, fuck substance, and fuck all that. My images. If the day come in and they do decide to snipe the hangout, again, people, they will have 4 minutes until it shuts down. I suggest you just turn the volume down, pay them no attention. They don't deserve any. It's an open platform. They can come in and discuss anything they like. So while I'm here, I might as well just say hello to everybody else. Aaron's Plain Truth, Sarah Calder.
I'm going to cut it in there. Can I just cut in there? Don't. I've got Timmy writing in the chat box. Make it be known, Dal No Curve denying Timmy Osmond to come on. Actually, Tim. Okay. Actually, your mail goes in the spam box. Okay. So I found it, and it's not that hasn't been done willfully, but there you go. That's where it ends up. So I don't know if you want Timmy in here this evening, Dal.
Is this all the Globes got? Fucking Timmy, fucking pole ankles Osmond. I mean, for fuck's sake, we've heard enough of Timmy. Timmy doesn't deserve any more exposure for his derpy idiocy. Right?
Well, I'm just going to knock that account he's using out because it's just spamming, Tim.
Timmy's had chances and Timmy sniped the hangouts. Timmy is an illogical fucking twat. Right? Timmy doesn't deserve. I wouldn't even spit him. He wouldn't even get a nod in the desert if I had 10 heads. Timmy, right? He's a fucking moron. He's had plenty of opportunities to come in here and he sniped the hangouts. He can fuck off. Somebody new, please. We've heard all your pish, Timmy. I mean, I thought the whole world believes it's a fucking globe. Run along and get some physicist or some other fucking person to come and put us all right. Where are they? Hercules, son of Zeus. Fact is, Flat Earth doesn't know what a scientific theory is. They keep confusing it with a hypothesis. It's not the same. Shut up, Hercules. Practicality, practical examples. Prove all your claims through practicality, actual substance. Not interested in your derpy word salads. Whatever. Why don't you just accept the link and come in? It's always the same. Everywhere you go, you get these brave Tinternet warriors hiding behind their keyboard, fucking copy and pasting, acting like fucking their intellects when they're not really. Because as soon as you call them on it, where are they? Fucking tumbleweeds. Tumbleweeds are round, therefore Earth's round. Perhaps you would like to come in and tell me where the centre of said potato rock is. I was talking to this absolute spanker on Facebook today. What's his name? I forget now. I said it earlier. Can't remember his name. rattling on about vacuum, space, gases. How the fuck does gases pull together in a vacuum? How do gases produce the magical gravity? At what precise scale does a mass have to be before gravity takes effect? And can you show these things practically? No, Earth's getting in the way. How does that work with your Cavendish experiment then? About it was 200 years ago, and it was a special man. It's a special man in a special shed with special balls. That counts. Fucking contradiction after contradiction with this utter lunacy. I don't know what Timmy is doing, fucking hanging about. How many times have we heard from Timmy, oh, it's me, I'm done, I'm off, Is it because you have to be here? Is that maybe the case? Because the very same religious institutions that control people and fed them bollocks for all these years are the very same people who are pushing this new age spiritual fucking religion bollocks. You live on a testicle and it sure came from a big bang and yeah, these very same people seeing you all right. So what else have we got here? SpiritHolly.com, Brian Ofsky, Mark DeAndreas. Dance for days. Why is it taking so long for the truth to get out then? Come on, mates. Well, here's the thing, Dabs for days. See when governments and fucking insecure, controlling fucknuts brainwash people and then set out their wee fucking minions to try and suppress it, it kind of takes a bit of time. But stick with it. You know, we'll get there. Things have grown rapidly in the last year. And it's not going to go away. These fucking Muppets are getting what's coming to them. Still nothing on the links, Marshall?
Well, no. What we've got is some people that are interested in coming on to talk, but they're not interested in defending a globe. I think
we'll give it half an hour, and then we'll just open it up to everybody else. No, but this is
I've got spiritholy.com. That is how I found this show. Yeah, dude, you said you sent a mail. There's been no mail received to the GMX. So if you could send a mail to nocurve@gmx.com, and we'll work from there. I'm assuming that you're coming to defend the globe, because the floor is open to.
Maybe the letters in his message had so much weight to them that they attracted other letters, and the gravity of the letters pulled the other letters, and it all got clogged up or something. nocurve@gmx.com. Send an email. You will get a link. It's no difficult. So we'll give you half an hour to see if any of these people decide to take that offer. This again makes the point. This is no circle jerk. People call it a circle jerk because people like to get together and discuss different things and have a laugh. That's not a circle jerk. The platform's always open for any of these morons to prove that they live on a testicle.
I've got a request from P. Marsdale. Again, that's not not really the credible characters we're looking for here, Mr.
He owes me $5,000. P. Mars is another one of these dipshits who says $5,000 candidate can prove blah 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 blah. So then you give him a substance. This is how water behaves. Proved beyond any shadow of doubt you don't live on a ball. My explanations. What about practicality, P-Mars? No. My explanations. My big long-winded word salad. That's what counts. No, Disney. We're dealing with objective truth. We're dealing with objective facts. Practicality. Show it. You owe me $5,000, you dishonest fucking muppet. This is not the way to talk. Stop swearing. Stop being so animated. You should sit here like this. Be very reserved. Speak like that. This is much more acceptable. If this is what the Globe people prefer, then I shall give them what they prefer. Whatever it takes to get their little fucking arses to come here and faces with their bollocks. What about Mr. Five Red Pears? We haven't seen that twat for a while. Still doing your drawings, Mr. Five Red Pears? Would you like a new colouring in book, perhaps? I can give you one with stars and little planets and you can colour them in till you're blue in the fucking face. If my demeanour intimidates you, I shall change it and I shall be like this, a little more effeminate. Yes. I am bending over backwards to accommodate your insecure, derpy self. Please don't be shy. Come along now. We're all waiting to be proven wrong and that we do indeed live on the exterior of a nature-defying testicle. I did want to believe it at one time in my life. I desperately tried to believe it. I desperately tried to prove myself that I did live in a globe. It was not by choice that I decided that there was no fucking proof for it. There just is no fucking proof. All practical proofs tell me that it is a level contained system I live in. But I shall remain open-minded to anybody who can provide actual proof of said testicle. Just one little proof. But I offer proof that debunks your model. One fact, observable, testable by everybody, and you don't want to hear it. Reality deniers. I am intellectually honest. I believed I lived on said testicle for the majority of my life until I decided to analyse it. And then, lo and behold, I discover that said testicle is bollocks. Hurry up, you fucking spineless gimps. Where are yous?
Did I miss them? Did I miss them there?
We've had two offers. We've had Timmy, pole ankles, Osman, and P-Mars, lying little shit-faced, dishonest cretin that owes me $5,000.
Is that an echo again?
It's a pretty poor show for the away team here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Hello?
Is that all they've got to offer? Is it the pair of them? Is that the only serious people that want to have an intelligent conversation?
Aye.
Is that all they could muster?
Yep.
Oh.
But they're not capable of intelligent discussion. They just come in and try and draw people's attention and waste people's times with the same old tired crap. So I've even changed my demeanour and my tone and the way I speak, trying to lure them in.
Did that not work? Did that not work, Bill? When you don't use any swear words?
Yeah. So apparently swear words are just not tolerable or acceptable at all. You know, swear words, yeah. I mean, swear words, apparently, if you use swear words, that proves a globe, apparently, or something, you know? Or
Well, can you not get Farquhar and Alistair on?
you can get a few farters on, I think that's about it. Right. Well,
It's going to be an early night, isn't it?
no. We'll just open up to everybody else. So I'll give it a quarter to. If none of the requests are used, then we'll just open up to everybody else, and I'll turn the phone on, see what people are saying. We have many splendid people here tonight in the chats, I must say. Well, I'll just read out everybody's here. Individual perspective, Ricky C, Riddle Me This, Shane Hewlett, Jonah Worms, obviously, how you doing? Russell Jimmies. Russell Jimmies, Dale's probably too intimidating for Globe as well. Well, Russell Jimmies, I mean, I can pull it back and I can be very effeminate, if that's what it takes. There's no reason to be intimidated. This is a screen. I can't get you through the screen. Nothing to worry about.
Stop it, you're killing me, man. They're maybe scared you're going to headbutt the screen and it'll somehow magically go through and whack them in the forehead.
Yeah. It's because they know I'm a master of self-projection, that I can enter into the ether through my spiritual body, through the pineal gland, and I can, get to them and fucking throttle them. So I think that's what they're worried about. They know I'm a master fucking pineal glander. Skyfly Bride, Danny Wilkes, West Coast Wisdom, Beyond Belief, Trackmatic, how you doing? Trackmatic, mathematics deniers, the science deniers, they certainly are. Mathematics is great when it applies to actual reality. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I like it. I just want to point out that it's very useful.
Yep. Stephen Kisby, Rock Vibrations, Going Up in Texas, X-Dragon 1969, SpiritHoly.com, Robert Baton.
I got mail from P. Morris saying that if he weighs you in with the 5K, is he welcome on the panel? What I will say, Mr. Morris, is that you do realise that constitutes a contract. So, if you'd like to mail 5K to nocurve@gmx.com, I'm sure we can accommodate you.
Yes, and leave it open so that I can then donate it to people who actually really need it. Okay? Cheers. Mark DeAndres, Captain Kirk, Night Angel, Levi Foster, Going Up in Texas, Twitwit. Oops, fucking jumped. Jordan Peters, Sea Forever Skies. If I have missed anyone out, please do not take it to heart. And again, if I have missed anybody's comments or messages, I do apologise. I do not have a team of secretaries and staff that are able to attend to comments and messages that come in. I will do another live response, probably on Sunday. We'll have a Sunday ridiculing of said Globe, said Testy. And we can also ridicule me if we like. Dan Tibbets, I seen somebody claiming that they had created a sock account using your name, Dan. And I think it was a ranty rant or something like that. just so that you know. X-Dragon, hello. Oh, this is a bit of a fucking damn scrub, is it no? I was expecting a huge intellectual battle this evening.
Yeah, me too. I was actually looking real forward to it.
Yes.
Doesn't seem there's any contenders at all.
No. But they will claim we opened the platform and we denied Globe Believers not. We denied two morons. Two morons don't count. The reason that we have denied said morons is because they have been in before. They have behaved inappropriately, stepped over the line, took over the hangout, shut it down. We do not tolerate insecure dicks like that. If you can't handle yourself, don't come in. Tyrell Apusa, the great and powerful Dell. Yes, yes, the great and powerful Dell. Yes, master of pineal glands and fucking astral planes. I am mighty warrior of YouTube, flat earth leader extraordinaire.
Keep going, man. I'm loving it.
I see all these raging debates about who's the leader of flat earth and you know, who's the best and all that, and people putting Eric up and people putting me up and blah blah blah. Fucking, I will pineal gland any of these people, right? If Eric wants to do pineal gland battle with me for the throne of leader of all flat earth, then so be it. Come on, Eric, let's have it. I'm not scared. Oh, we can have a yoga battle. I'm up for that.
We can have a bong battle as well.
Vigo Stockholm Dale is a superstar. Yep. The Big Bang made me. All the gases pulled together. I'm made of magic. Dale is William Shatner. Captain of the, what is it? Starship Testicle. The Starship Enterprise or something. Was that the right movie? I don't know.
To boldly go where no man has gone before used to be the tagline that we all heard. I remember I used to want to rush home from school to watch Star Trek. That and Doctor Who. That was the other great one that was just full of nonsense. The time capsule in the box. You remember that one?
Aye. Yeah.
It's still going, isn't it?
I think so.
They've still got that one on permanent.
Aye. That's a good one for programming.
Oh, aye. Yeah, that really gets the fantasies of the kids going, doesn't it?
SpiritHoly.com, Eric Dubai was amazing. Really enjoyed his 200 proofs. Aye, it's just banter. Eric will know that we're just having a laugh, you know. I'm talking about in regards to this nonsense that goes around about who's the leaders and who's this and that of this movement. It's not like that. This is part of the PSYOP where they try and umbrella everybody into one group and then start claiming this lot's the leaders and everything's run by, you know, it's not like that. It's all independent people who are coming out and creating their own platforms and, you know, saying what they have to say. There is no leaders. You know, there might be some prominent figures, you know, based on how early they were here and whatever, but by no means is there any leaders. You know, it was just a joke, and I'm sure, you know, Eric will get it. So Get your pineal gland out, Eric. Camden battle with you.
Get your.
My spirit warrior's on the way to Thailand right now. I fucking astral projected him through the pineal gland 5 minutes ago. Fucking beware. Don't go to sleep.
There's a comment there, the Dell Testicle Walker. I think that's got something to do with Star Wars.
Right.
Good one.
We're all testicle walkers, apparently.
Yep. Sticky testicle walkers.
It's quite obviously a testicle, and we're just fucking crazies. You know?
Yeah, we're obviously nuts, you know.
Excuse the pun.
So is there still links out there? Like, Marshall?
We've got one link outstanding to random tandems who seem to disappear as soon as they receive the link, and there've been no other serious inquiries apart from the idiots that have already been mentioned. There are other people, some of which are new, that are interested in coming on and having a discussion about things. But I mean, primarily, the floor was open this evening for Globers to come and prove their case, and it doesn't seem that that's possible somehow.
Damn it! I wanted professors and doctors and people with degrees, and I wanted to come in and start talking to me, man. What's up? Jesus
No,
Christ.
fucking
It must be simple. He put us right. I mean, come on.
You know, all these professors, but we get Mars bar kit and fucking pole ankles. I'm sure they can muster up some sort of hit piece video right enough.
Yeah. That's a
Beyond
shame.
belief. They obviously get nothing beyond the belief saying, well, this is the case, because we know that it's not what they're saying it is. Because if it is what they were saying it was, we're honest enough people that we would establish the facts, we would look at objective reality, and we would formulate it and say, of course, it is a globe, fine, move on, and we wouldn't be sitting here doing this.
Absolutely. Well, maybe we should just open it up. I mean, at least we can speak to real people then.
Yeah.
If we don't get any takers, huh?
That's it. As I say, I've gave it more than enough time now, so that's sort of an hour and 15 minutes and still nothing. So, we're opened up now to everybody. So if you want to come in and join us, just send an email to nocurve@gmx.com and I will fire up this phone.
That's a link out to Spirit Holy. When you're ready, dude.
There's probably so many people I really should be shouting out, but I just don't get enough time to remember and write these things down. I can only apologise for it. And again, if anybody expected at the meetup that I was going to somehow, offer a presentation, my mind just doesn't think like that. If that is what people are expecting, was for me to organise and have some sort of presentation, I can only apologise for it. It's just not where my thought goes. It's not how I think about things. I'm not the leader or anything, so I'm not going to show up and go, I'm here, Mighty Dale, ready to fucking present to my followers and minions. It's not like that. For me, it's just a social gathering for people to get annoyed with.
Yo, how's it going?
So I'm not going to show up and go, I'm here, Mighty Dale, ready to fucking present to my
Right,
followers.
Chuck, you'll have to mute your watch page while you're in the Hangout. You'll still hear the audio through the Hangout, but we get the delayed feedback from you, obviously. Right, Chuck, you'll have to mute your watch page while you're in the Hangout. You'll still hear the audio through the Hangout, but we get the...
Yeah, no headphones, I'm afraid. Just turn you down a bit.
Yeah, no, Spirit.
Yeah, all right there.
See how you're watching it on YouTube. Just turn
Yeah. Turn that off. Gotcha.
I'll just turn the volume down on your actual YouTube video bit, and then you'll be fine. It's just that it's playing back as a delay.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry, bro.
Any bother, man.
Yeah, obviously cognitive dissonance. It's a little bit crazy. I was watching your interviews with people, and you know the way you was keeping it really simple. I've been watching this shit for the last, well, just solid now, trying to get my brain around it, you know, because we're taught at school from, like you say, from since small that we're living on a round earth. But I've never really believed in gravity. It's just logically, it doesn't make any sense to me, because, you know, the buoyancy and density, I've known about that, and that makes perfect sense to me. You know, it makes logic, and they've never found a graviton. They've never found these gravity waves. They're spending all this money sending shit into space, and obviously the whole NASA thing and everything else. So it all smelt bad. And, you know, I've flown a lot. I've had the luxury to go to America. I've seen New York. I've seen the Statue of Liberty from 40 miles away. I know that curvature of Earth. It's impossible to see it from that distance. And that just, it's been bugging me in my mind for some time, you know? Yeah. And this is why I'm on the fence. It's not because I don't believe my eyes or my senses. It's more to do with the fact that, you know, you've got all this knowledge that apparently that's forced down your throat, stored in your brain, that, because I love science, physics and all of that. I love it. So I've got all this like calculus and stuff in my head, and it's like, you just got to now throw that away. And we know they're a bunch of liars, all of them. And, you know, you can see that the sea's completely flat. Well, I know that the water's level, but until you guys, I didn't even consider that. It wasn't even a consideration. It wasn't even on my mind that, although I knew that as a scientific, observable, repeatable fact, because I've got a cup of coffee here and it's flat. You know, it's right in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
But it's not something that a lot of people can grasp. It's the simplest of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's really, that's, you know, that's what I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about, is like, what kind of experiments can, obviously you've got a cup here, but what kind of experiments can we do? Like laser pointers across the sea. I mean, what kind of experiments can the average kind of person do and get out there and test and then make a little video for themselves to get this out there?
Well, that's it, mate. It's, you know, I've always experienced this with people many times, you know, or, you know, laser pointers, and I understand why people want to go there. But, you know, I'm always trying to point to people, look, it's the liquid's more accurate than your laser. You know, and again, it's accessible. They can test it from a cup to a bathtub, to a swimming pool, to a dam. You know, it's only in their mind that they're thinking that these oceans are bad. But really, that substance, when they observe it, they understand it, they know that that's impossible. You know? But,
well, yeah, there's no curved ocean. You know, I've flown around most of the world. I've never seen a curved ocean ever, anywhere, or a lake, or a swimming pool.
It's not reality.
It's not reality.
No. But people find it hard, that they think they need this other apparatus or some other, you know, thing in the middle. You know, rather than just trusting that actual substance that's abundant on Earth, they think there has to be some man-made instrument from some professor in a dark room in the fucking, you know, the outer reaches of some university somewhere. You just don't get it.
I think that's just because we've been programmed with, like, you know, tools and, you know, gadgets and meters and levels and all sorts of other stuff. So it kind of, to make it real, believable, even though our eyes can see it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can't see atoms. I don't know whether they exist or not. We've been told they are. I know that there's a cell. I know there's molecules because they make chemistry and stuff. And then I can only deduce that they're made of atoms and so on, because I've been told that. But that makes logical sense. But when you're told that water sticks to a globe and we're spinning at, where is it? Is it even that 666? Are those numbers like 666,000, whatever? Or is that just,
1,000
are
miles
they
an
just
hour?
manipulated numbers to make it look like it's satanic or something?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they say the Earth's 1,000 miles an hour at the equator.
Right.
And then it's travelling at 66,000 miles an hour. Well, the sun's going 500,000 miles an hour. So, you know, these are all the...
I mean, you know, if you stand still, you don't feel any movement. I mean, you know, you get in an elevator, a lift, or whatever, you feel movement. You get in a car, a skateboard, you walk down the street, you feel movement. You can feel the movement of the wind on your face.
Yep.
So
Yep.
why can't we feel the movement of the planet?
It's magic,
It
mate.
doesn't make sense to me.
Magic.
And one of them, and you know, like with the air paths as well, you know, I mean, about, I was watching from, I think it was from South America to Africa. They stop in Senegal or something in the middle. And on the globe map, they're kind of flying this, which is like double the distance. But when you flatten it out, it's actually on the route.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was speaking to my dad about this because he's worked as an air traffic controller for like 40 years, just retired. And he confirmed those flight paths to me. And then I said, well, why do they do that if it's like twice the distance when, in essence, they could just fly straight across? And he couldn't answer the question. Obviously, he's a gravity of a global dude.
Yeah.
I didn't go there yet.
Yeah.
I haven't got enough information.
It's the same with the transatlantic flights. They have to take certain paths, you know, because the communication's lost when they get so far. You know, and even in that, as I said before, that old book I have for the 1936, you know, describing aeroplanes, how they fly and how they communicated, was done through triangulation. But you're right. I mean, you look at some of these paths that are supposedly taken, and it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You know?
Yeah, maybe just one thing there, air traffic control. So air traffic control works on the basis of cylindrical coordinates. Every air traffic control tower has a cylinder where it measures the altitude of the planes passing through it, and a plane will go from one cylindrical tower to another as it goes along its path. So, you know, I mean, your father's working with cylinders, but living on a globe. So, you know, ask him how that works.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I will. Is I mean, obviously, I know you wanted someone with to try and defend the globe. I mean, I know a lot about science, and I can't defend it in any way, shape, or form. You know, in no way at all, because all the information I've been told defies what my logic, my senses say, and what I know when I think about it. You know, the interviews you're doing with people in the parks and in the universities and that, the 200 proofs is one thing, but I can't prove that. A lot of those proofs I can't go out necessarily and prove for myself. I don't know about the rails being dead straight. It's just some guy saying it. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But what you said about the water on the level and stuff like that is observable.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that with my own eyes. I can see the horizon. I know the boats. I can watch videos of people zooming it back in. You know, and with the curvature being, what is it, 8 inches per mile square or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can calculate that. You know, having seen the Statue of Liberty myself from 40 miles, I know that that's impossible if the Earth is the size it is. So if they've got the fucking size wrong massively, you know, or it's a different shape.
Yeah.
There's the only conclusion you can come to. There's no other conclusion you can come to.
Yeah.
So whatever, whether it's round, flat, hexagon, you know, a dodecahedron or whatever, the point is that it's wrong. What they're telling us is not correct.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can only go east to west, we can't go north to south. And, you know, the North Pole, the Antarctica Treaty to stop people going for when I found out about that and I watched that information, I was like, hang on a minute, what you're telling me is I can't, if I wanted to, get a bit of money, jump in a boat and go to the South Pole and find out for myself. Why?
Yeah.
Why can't I?
Exactly.
Why can't anyone?
Exactly.
And that's like the biggest red flag there is, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
it's only meant to be ice. I mean, what do they think? We're going to show up with a carry, you know, a couple of cans and fucking some doobies and
Start a party.
make a mess? I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, untouched environment, kind of get that. But that's not why. I mean, we're talking about a time when the Cold War was on, when Russia and America were threatening to nuke each other, and kids in America were hiding under desks, you know, and wearing gas masks. And yet they've got this secret agreement that no one knows about, where they've got Russians and Americans on the same boat protecting an area.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah. And regardless of any of that, who the fuck are these people to tell us where we can't go in the first place?
Well, exactly. Especially if nobody owns it. It's not, you know, everyone's got a bit of property. I get that. You know, maybe there's a bit of private property that's yours. But if no country owns it, nobody owns it, why can't we go there and test this for ourselves? I mean, I was thinking like do a crowdfund or something. You know, I said in the chat about sending drones or whatever, but rightly so. Someone said they'd probably get shot down.
Yeah.
But the point is if you got enough of them and you sent them in all different directions, and you didn't say the day you was going to do it specifically, one of them would probably make it.
Yeah.
And all that video and that data, you might get somewhere towards the edge. At least you might find out that there is an actual circle around the edge and not a continent in the bottom of the globe Earth. You don't need to see all of it to deduce that. You just need to get to the edge, don't you?
Well, if there is an edge, I don't know what you mean by
Well, yeah, you know what I mean, where the wall is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because we don't even know if it's an edge. We know there's an ice wall. That's it. What's beyond it, nobody knows. I saw a map. It's an ancient one of like, it kind of goes with what Admiral Byrd says. I can't remember the name of the map, unfortunately. It was a bit glitchy in the video, where it's got like the southern continent, and then there was another ring around that, and then another wall.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's almost as if ancient cultures have gone a bit further.
Yeah.
You know? But obviously, we can't prove that.
Yeah. Again, it's you're dealing with drawings and sketches and things from books and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's, you know, to investigate, all you can do is look.
Exactly. Exploration has to be, man.
You know, is look.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the logical next step. I mean, if you've arrived here as well, and that you know that the globe is a lie, we don't know where we are, we don't know the real shape of it. So the only way to go out is tangibly find it. But visibly,
I'm super curious, you know. I'm super curious, and I like truth. I like to know where we are in the world. Where are we? You know, why are we here? All them. I mean, it's a philosophical matter as well. It's not just a conspiracy. It's about who the fuck are we as people, as human beings, as a species.
Yeah.
You know, it goes. This is why some people say, like, I don't know why I should care. Well, you should care because at your core it tells you what, where, who you are, where we came from, the history of us, man, the planet.
Yeah.
If there's a creator, intelligent design, it doesn't matter what it is, but what we're told is not the truth.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters to me, anyway.
But this is, you know, I've always said that, I've expressed that many times. If we don't have that knowledge, then what is your life?
Well, yeah.
So to live.
It puts like a whole. I mean, obviously, you just get on with your daily life. You can have your cup of tea. You can watch YouTube. You can have your beer. You can crack on with work and that. But there's still that. I've always had that curiosity. Where are we from? But this is why I was into science. This is why I was into like the nature of things. What is the universe?
Yeah.
And when all of a sudden you kind of think, well, hang on a minute, all of that may not even be any representation of reality at all.
No, that's
You know.
I think they play on that inquisitiveness that we have, right? And they fill our heads with those ideas and those beliefs, you know? Because they know they play on that. So they keep our heads full of that stuff. I mean, I'm the same as yourself. Natural science was always something that interested me.
Yeah, you're really breaking up there, man. I've got a bad echo.
Okay, is that better now?
Yeah,
I could hear you though. I could hear him.
just make you, but it was quite bad there, mate. Sorry to cut in. It's just in case anybody missed what you were saying there.
No, no bother. I hope it's okay now.
Seems to be.
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just wanted to reiterate that, you know, we are inquisitive beings by nature, right? And we're always looking for answers, and we think a lot. We have those senses that allow us to reason and think. So, you know, I mean, and to curtail that, I think the only way for them to control us is to fill our head with stuff, so that we want to have a belief. You know, we're always looking for the next belief to grab onto, instead of, okay, hold on, let's put all that away and let's, you know, go out and find out for yourself, yeah? Which is coming back to that tangible exploration that we need. That's the only way forward, right? You know?
Yeah, almost like a belonging to belong to something, or whether it's a football club, a country, a nation, or religion, whatever. We want to be, I mean, as humans, we're sort of social creatures, aren't we? You know, we want to be a part of something, family, friends, a club, you know, label.
Yeah.
And do you think that like what they're doing here is distracting us from that, from our real intention?
Yeah, they've gave us a false foundation. And as you say, for me, if you know, the world's a confusing place that doesn't make sense, then because you're looking for certainty and you're looking to understand who you are and why you're here, you know, people will flock to these ideas if they appeal to them. You know, and for me, every single one of them is a substitution. It's a substitute for the actual knowing. You know, and if we did know, if we did have that knowledge and that was never severed, we wouldn't have the religions and these ideologies that we have today. It just wouldn't exist.
Yeah, they're control mechanisms at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So in essence, by like shrouding the world in this globe, in this eggshell, they're keeping us inside like a prison, in essence, of the mind, of consciousness.
That's it. That's where the war is. That's exactly where it is.
Yep, that's where the wall needs to come down. Yep.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. So back to like practical experiments. I mean, just literally go to the beach, take a telescope, you know, take a camera. You know, I'm just saying, normal people, the things that they've already got. So you haven't got to spend any money. You know, you can go out, try and do these things for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously, you know, what someone says, you have to take with a pinch of salt, and you only got to, in essence, whatever it is, you know, and what was it? Testable, observable, repeatable. I mean, that's the axioms of science. That's supposed to be what science is. That's supposed to be what the scientific method is. It's supposed to be that.
Yep.
Yeah. Gravity, the average person can't go out and prove that shit.
No.
Not unless you're a physicist or you've got some crazy maths. And it's almost like Newton, when he invented calculus, enshrouded science in this mathematic that wasn't, you know, understandable to the average person. So this is where the global people in my world have got the problem. They don't know the math, because if they knew the math and they could work it out, then they'd be able to figure out that it wasn't a globe in the first place, right? Maybe that's, I mean, just saying, obviously you're a mathematician, aren't you?
Yeah, well,
right? Right, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the calculus is basically playing with limits of things, you know, like making things go to infinity or making them really small to try and make really good approaches. So if you do believe those definitions, then yeah, you can go and calculate with it. And that's what calculus, right? But it doesn't make it, you know, because if you go out into reality, you'll find that the water contradicts what we're telling you.
It's unintelligible. It's as if you're under.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's gone now. There was a kind of, you know, a kind of hissing noise as well. It's gone.
Going to get myself a new headset. Sorry, everybody.
Yep. So you just go back again and see what you were saying there. Sorry, Garth.
I was just saying that the mathematics of calculus is all about, you know, taking limits of things and trying to make approximations. And it's definitions. If you believe that you can do that, if you can take ever smaller limits and then make a curve, for example, an approximation of lots of straight lines, then again, the mathematicians will go way off and believe it. But if you get something like water, which contradicts the reality or what they're trying to tell us, then you can just throw it straight away. I mean, it's a model for something. It's good at making calculations and approximations, but it is not real. Yeah. You know, I mean,
yeah, it's great for working out 3D renderings. I mean, I do game design, so I'm used to a 3D environment. You know, I'm used to CGI and all that. I've done game design at uni. And I can clearly tell that most of them, or if not all of them images, are CGI. All of them. you know. I've known that since, well, quite a long time. I mean, even the moon stuff, like the bubbles and that, I noticed that as a kid. But it was winning one eye and out the other, you know, because everyone around me was like, yeah, they went to the moon. And even though it's like I'm only 40 years old, that sort of stigma of it all. And I mean, I've been to Kennedy Space Center. I've seen shuttles go up, you know, I've actually watched them go up. And unfortunately, I saw the one that blew up. I was there live. And it seems like a weird thing to do, to spend all, I mean, obviously from a tax dollar point of view, they get all this money, and it might not cost as much as they say to push that shit up, take it up to as high as you can see so you can't see it, land it in the ocean, put them away for 3 days, pocket a load of cash, you know. I mean, but there's got to be more to it than just money. I mean, we were talking about the spiritual, the philosophical. Sorry if this is a bit off topic.
No, I don't think it is. I think what you're saying is it's not just about the money, it's about the spiritual or mental control that they want to have over us by trying to prove that, you know, we live on a ball. So I get where you're coming from.
I'm hoping that there's people out there that may be on the fence also. I mean, I'm obviously leaning more towards the flat earth. I mean, it makes sense to me. Even seeing some of the old maps, you know, for example, the United Nations flag, they use that flat earth model. Ships, Navy, the United States Geographical Survey, you know, they all use that map. Why? Because nautical miles on a fucking globe is wrong. The distances are incorrect, so they have to use that flat map. So if they're using that map because the distances are correct, it's got to be a flat plane, right? I mean, that's just what authority uses. You know, not kind of secretly, if you will, internally. And anyone can Google that and look it up. You know, they can look that up for themselves. Okay, it's still internet. It's still a picture. It still isn't, you know, your eyes or whatever. But it does give some credence to, you know, the fact that if the miles are wrong, if the distances are wrong, the airplane paths are incorrect, the distances aren't correct, well, surely then the globe isn't correct.
Yeah, absolutely. It's,
you know, that's just being, you know, because then people can look this stuff up for themselves, can't they? You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many absurdities, paradoxes, contradictions, you know, and you've highlighted a few of them now. So yeah, absolutely. And can I just ask a question? When you say you lean towards the flat Earth, what's stopping you? I mean, do you
cognitive dissonance, my friend. Just pure cognitive dissonance. Pure cognitive dissonance. And Neil deGrasse Tyson and Cosmos and the universe and decades of science that is in there that I've got to unlearn. You know, so the thought processes are, but what about this? Oh, hang on a minute. So, you know, my brain's still processing it all.
I know what you mean.
You know, I get it. Logically, I get it. Spiritually, I get it. I understand the conspiracy, the theory, and everything else. You know, that's why I'm saying I'm on the fence. It's just pure cognitive dissonance right now. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we totally understand that. You know, I was the same for months when I came in here. But again, you know, people say, you know, these sides of the fence, when really we're not in any particular camp anyway. You know, it's always an ongoing investigation. As we always state, we don't know. We just don't know what the full dimensions are. You know, but as again, we can deduce from actual observation and actual physics what the possibilities are. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, the way the horizon goes up. Sorry, go on, man.
I was just going to say, we know what it can't be, huh? And I think that's the
exactly.
Come from, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I can absolutely with certainty say that what we've been taught and told is not correct. Fact. I know that, you know, from investigation, through my eyes, through my self-experience, you know, seeing the Statue of Liberty from 40 odd miles away. There's just a few things in my life that I've already seen from time ago that confirm that that's not, you know, we're not living on a globe. You know what I mean? And then of course with the whole NASA thing, I can understand why they fake it beyond just the globe thing. you know, military dominance. There's a whole bunch of other reasons why they might want to do that. But then to continue that farce, you know, is like you said in one. I think he was talking with Eric. I think it's Eric, and you was like, it doesn't matter why. The fact of the matter is that they're not telling the truth, and we don't know the nature of the shape of the fucking planet that we live on.
We're in the dark, and people keep saying why would they, why? You know, motive's not important right now. It's, you know, it's the same as that analogy. You don't walk into a crime scene and start saying, well, a murder never happened because I don't know why it would have happened. You know?
Yeah, there's blood everywhere. Someone's dead on the floor. There's a murder.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and trying to keep it simple. I mean, when you're going through this cognitive dissonance, just want to explain this to people. You have all these questions in your head, and it's harder to switch off that little voice. I would say I'm quite a spiritual, logical person, so I can switch off, if you will, certain thought processes. At the same time, I've got 40 years of learning or indoctrinated education. It's kind of knocking on my little brain, you know. And really, I just wanted to have an open conversation, with you guys, and for other people, you know, that might be globers or whatever you want to call them, globalists, to have a think about it just for a second. Don't just say no. Don't go, oh, it's a globe because I was told it was a globe, or it's a globe because my school said it was a globe, or because there's a globe because of gravity. Just drop all of that for a second and just ask the question, what if? That's it. That's to me is an open conversation. That's about what the scientific method is. It's about actually investigating, you know, other opinions, and especially as regards to like the level of the water. For me, that's a no-brainer. That does it.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything else, the water is a level. Always has been. Everybody knows it. You taught it at school as a fact. Ancients used to use it. It's used as a level for large construction because it is level. You know, and there was like the canals that would go on for miles and miles and miles. I think it's in this country. And they're perfectly level for further. I mean, the canals don't go like that. So anyone that's like thinking, hey, we don't live on a flat, check that out. Check the canals of England. They're miles and miles and miles long, and they don't curve up or curve down, and they're dug at exactly the same level all the way along. You know, these are things that people can check for themselves.
Yeah, and I think your major point there about the fact that people need to discern the difference between what is it in their head that's only a belief, and as Dale quite rightly says, what is it you actually know? Yeah, that's the starting point, right? Because if people don't do that, then they just keep getting tied up in their beliefs, thinking that is knowledge, but it's not. It's just a belief rather than a real knowing about, you know, observable reality. Yeah. So, you know, I think that is the hard part for most people to get their heads around.
So.
Yeah, it's getting rid of that false belief, you know. I mean, but that's what beliefs are, isn't it? You know, I mean, whether you support red or blue, or vote left or right, or Celtic or Rangers or whatever, Chelsea, Man United, but even that is a belief system. That your team or your God's bigger than my God, or, you know, my team's better than your team. They're all belief systems. We kind of get attached to the fact that that's part of who we are as a person, when in fact it isn't. It's just some taught behaviour or knowledge.
Part of the mental illness.
Yeah.
People shouldn't have beliefs in their mind. You know, but we don't require beliefs in regards to, you know, things being objectively true. You either know them, you experience them, or you don't. You know,
yeah.
But again, it's part of the symptoms for me of this whole fucking escapade that's been on. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, it is like a mental illness, isn't it?
Yep, certainly is.
Yeah, it's that difference between what's an original perception, what do you know immediately as a self-evident thing, and what's an acquired perception, something you've been taught, schooled, educated, you know, bullied into believing. Yeah, basically.
But again, I just need to reiterate, because people will say, "Oh, beliefs are useful." Well, you can use belief in order to motivate yourself. You can have self-belief. You can have things like that that can
Confidence, for example.
inspire you into moving and getting things done. But when we're talking about objective reality, and things being objectively, tangibly true, you shouldn't require any belief. It's either there or it's fucking no. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, people confuse the issue with subjective and objective. When you say these things. So.
Yeah, I think also this is sort of going into like philosophy a little bit more, in my view, anyway. It's like the ego. When you've got a set of beliefs, your ego can attach to that, and it becomes like a persona. Do you know what I mean? And it's not even kind of you. It's those beliefs are somebody else's persona or somebody else's control or indoctrination that you adapt. And you could change your mind. Like some people are Christian and they become Buddhists. Some people are atheists, and so on. They change over time. You change your views depending on new information. I think it's not good to have a belief that whereby even when you're presented with new evidence, you don't at least be open to the fact that belief is not true.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't believe the Earth was a globe. I actually thought that was the nature of my reality because of what I was taught.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a belief because I was open to the fact that tomorrow aliens could land, or whatever. We could go on another planet. I was open to all of those things. Open.
Well, that's the scientific method, and anybody who claims they're involved in science, it should always be an open book. Open to investigation, open to contradiction, open to be proven wrong. So that's simply all that we ask of people.
Sure.
Oh, the Dunning-Kruger effect. All these scientists have got it all wrong, and you guys have got it right. Or whatever. Again, it's not a rebuttal or any proof of the claims that are being made when they say these things. So, and as we've pointed out, and as Gav has highlighted many times before, if people think that their axioms or where they're starting from is true and they're working with that, then it's not that they're actively lying and participating and perpetuating any lie. It's just what they think is true.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it was, I can't remember which video it was because I've watched a few, and they was talking about, somebody was asking the question, all the scientists can't be involved in this huge conspiracy. They're not. They're just like us. They've been to school. They've been taught a certain bunch of stuff that everybody else, if everybody was told the sky was orange and it's actually blue, everybody would say the sky was orange. If you was told that, if we was taught that blue was orange and orange was blue, it just is what it is. And then all of a sudden someone says, actually, I can do this experiment that shows that it's blue. And then that's the same thing with the flat earth. As far as I'm concerned, we can do simple experiments such as liquid to prove that water is on a level. And that whole gravity, sticking it to the surface of the earth, I don't believe, as a belief, I didn't believe in gravity because there's no observable evidence that it even fucking exists. Yeah. None. They've spent billions on the equipment. They haven't found the graviton. They haven't found a gravity wave. They did find one apparently once, but they haven't been able to repeat it. And that came shortly after there was a big lot of information coming out about gravity not even existing. So it seems to me that as soon as somebody comes up with some actual scientific way that is repeatable to prove something, they have to come up with a new picture, a new planet, or some other
distraction,
CGI representation,
some other bollocks.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And as you said, Dale, just to pull this back to this, everybody's in on it. We've said this a few times, but a mathematician will pass a lie detector test, right? Because he believes in these axioms. Sure. I could put 100 people in the witness stand and ask them if they ever have double vision. And 100 people will tell me, no, I don't have double vision. But if you put your finger in front of your eye, yeah, and look at something behind it, or look at your finger, then you've always got double vision. You've got double vision all the time. You just don't see it. You just don't attend to it. So you would, you would theoretically stand there and say, no, I don't have double vision.
You got
So
two
that's
eyes,
exactly,
right?
as an analogy, that's exactly the way it is. People actually believe in that, so they're not actively lying to us. Yeah.
Mm. What do you think we can do to, sort of? I know you got a bit stressed out earlier. I mean, I understand because
I'm not stressed, mate.
you know
I'm
what
not
I mean.
stressed. Yeah.
Okay, but is there a way that to avoid the frustrations as such? Because obviously, there's a lot of trolls when it comes to this topic and subject. I've been in this conversation before a while back. You kind of bounce into it a little bit, you fade away, and whatever. The truth is the truth, and it'll always find you, and you'll always find it. If you seek it enough, you're always going to come back to it. I mean, is there something that others can do to sort of soften the blow as such when it comes to telling people about this information, so that it doesn't sound like you're fucking crazy?
Well,
You
I've said it before. I went over it a good few times. People need to be indirect and subtle in their approach to people. Some people can take direct in your face. There you go, wham, there it is. And other people, you need to be indirect, especially when you're dealing with a situation and a subject like this. Just being as indirect as possible. As I say, you're formulating the Socratic method, using it as a kind of manipulation. But again, it's not to put people in ignorance. It's to bring them to a realisation of actual reality. So there is methods there. I've put it up on this channel as well, and I always talk about it. Then I follow through with it with the street interview stuff. So as I say, just being as indirect and tactile as you possibly can be.
I think one of the ways as well was to invite your mate round for a pizza, get a few beers, and just watch a documentary. I like that approach as well, because obviously there's many documentaries on many subjects, and everybody agrees on them all. But I think when you're trying to explain this to someone, especially when you're new to it, because of my own cognitive dissonance, I've got facts in there, or so I think. Just sitting down and watching, the 200 proofs. I think that was a really good video. What do you think of that yourselves? Do you think that's a good place for people to start, or?
I mean, anything that brings people in, is a good place for them to start. It gets them thinking. It gets them actively looking into things and questioning. So I mean, it's a great place for people to start.
Yep, I think so too. It's about getting them to start questioning their own beliefs, right, and understanding that difference that we were talking about. And as far as I'm concerned, I looked at that video too. I think it was one of the first ones I watched. And it was great because you could pick out things that interested you and dive in deeper. I'm one of these guys that I had to look at the sources. So, that's compiled from a lot of different documents of, people gone by who thought about it. So I dove into all these Carpenter and, Rowbottom. And I think people need to do that, whatever suits you, right? But you need to do your own due diligence.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
I like the idea about, just getting together and watching something. I think that's a good way to start with anybody as well, yeah.
Yeah.
With a few mates, a couple of beers and some pizza, and just sit back and watch.
Yeah, because again, it's indirect. It's not coming from you. And the problem people have, and people experience this all the time, is in groups where people think they know who you are, based on previous experience of you. People don't really allow you to grow. They don't see you changing from day to day and evolving and becoming a different human and expanding your mind. They always hold you to who they think you are or what they think they know about you. So it's always difficult when you're in that familiarity to try and have these conversations with people, because all that baggage gets in the road. So, being indirect, something like a video, it's not coming directly from you, gives you the opportunity to remove that and just talk about it and have a discussion.
Yeah, let them ask the questions for themselves, rather than kind of, you're not convincing. You're not saying, "Oi, look, it's like this." Like enforcing yourself upon them in essence.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we don't have all the answers anyway, so it's definitely about people just questioning themselves, questioning their beliefs, and questioning the world they live in. That's what we haven't done for hundreds of years. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got some more requests for links. Is it Holy Spirit? Is it Spirit Holy?
That was me, mate.
Aye. So we've got other people coming in for links. I appreciate you coming on, man. And
yeah, no, thank you very much. I really appreciate the chat and that. It's been great.
aye, it was just say any time, man. But just before you go, I want to point out an observation. You're displaying a hotspot there on your skull. Therefore, the light bulb is 93 million miles away.
Yeah. Nice one. Exactly. That doesn't happen unless it's close. I know that from 3D game design. Do the best we can to get rid of them.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on as well. It was great hearing your thoughts, my man.
Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.
Much appreciated, bud.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
That's a link out to Truth Denied. Truth will hold the door for about 5 minutes or something, and then I'll pass the link on to somebody else if you're not around.
Yeah.
Confirmation in the chat box would be handy. Thanks, man.
I'm just going to take a wee bio break as well, guys. Back in a minute.
Cool. In fact, I need to go and grab myself a drink. So, Marshall, get your vocal cords exercised, my man. Don't kid on, you never heard me.
What was that? Well, peeps, well, there we go. The floor was open yet again for people to come in and have a considered, intelligent discussion about their global beliefs, and nobody has risen to the bar. So I think we all anticipated that was likely to be the case anyway. And on we go. Truth Denied, your links out. Ireland, you queued for next. And Mercury, I've got your mail as well. Anybody new here? The way the protocol works is we afford everybody the same opportunity to have open access to the floor, where there is no interruption or and a constructive conversation can be had. It can get quite busy and confusing at times when people are all insistent to speak over each other, and that doesn't make for any resolution or for any clarity for anybody listening in. Oh, come on, people, give us a fucking break here, man. I'm taking the lessons. I'm going to the studio. Let me take my time over this, man. Sing the Which Flat Earth song? There are so many now. And to be some more soon. There's a teaser for you.
I'm not hearing any singing.
I'm not at the end of the show yet, dude. And there we go. They think we'll say by a minute. There can be no copyright material on this channel, dude. We know, that's one of the big drawbacks, because I had quite a repertoire worked out there, and unfortunately, none of it can be used. Time Truth Denied. Your link is out, dude. A few minutes more, and I'll pass on to Ireland because he's been waiting for quite a while.
Cool. I'm just going to come to the chat and read some of the messages. But Mero, I see that you've messaged me there with some nice pics. I'll get to that once I'm finished with this, mate. The Sob Tank. Why do you believe, out of all the facts, why the Earth is flat? All what facts? Sob Tank. The platform's open. It's been open for anybody to provide proof of a globe, and now you're here, nearly 2 years later, asking idiotic questions. There is no facts for the globe. The globe is nonsense. Right? Here's one fact. Go and sit in your arse, make yourself a cup of tea. Look at the cup of tea. Contemplate the liquid that is in your cup of tea. Right? Just sit there for a wee minute, shut the chatter off in your brain and all the pseudoscience that you've got running around your skull. Contemplate that liquid for a wee minute, and then you will realise that people telling you live on the exterior of a globe, on the exterior of a ball, is utter retarded bullshit. There's a fact. Fluid mechanics. How do fluids behave here on Earth? Oh, that's right. They take the form of any container. They will not conform to the exterior of any shape. You don't display shapes upon the surface of water. It does not have the ability to support itself. You can't have slopes without the water flowing. There's a fact that I don't have to believe. I know it. I know it. It's in my everyday experience. It is objectively true. You can concur. You can go and verify or falsify that. We'll wait 5 minutes for you to go and make a cup of tea. Then you can let us know what you find. Right? No words. Don't want to hear words. I want to see practicality. No, but the water's following the gravitational force stuff.
Is that you talking common sense again, Dell, and not fucking sophistry? Come on, they want to hear complicated explanations of stuff.
Hey.
Did I miss Marshall's song?
I missed it as well. I think he only sings when we've left the room.
It's like one of these Schrodinger's cat, isn't it? It's when we don't observe it, then he sings.
That's it.
Well, I think that's time enough, dude. I'm gonna Ireland. Your link's going out now.
Cool. So I say it's a midweek stint, and I'm starting to wane and get a bit tired now. It's been 2 hours already. It's just flown by. So I'm not going to stay on all night.
I already said, Dale, I'll be away for the next couple of weeks, so I'll miss it. But a couple of weeks.
Cool, mate. Off travelling.
Aye. Going to be flying some aeroplanes as well, so I'll report the curve if I ever see one.
Oh,
Hey guys.
Ireland, how you doing?
Oh, doing well. How you guys doing today?
Yeah, all right.
Right on. Well, I'm not a globe head, but I don't believe in a flat Earth, so maybe I'll give you some type of fun.
We don't believe in any particular flat Earth model either, man. So you've came to the right place.
Right on. I don't know. I guess the things I've been looking at, I'm going to start by bashing a little bit of the heliocentrist stuff out there, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
Just, I know flat earthers love that, so I'll start with that.
Sorry, can I just establish what you mean by flat earthers? And you're saying that you don't believe in a globe, but you're not on the flat side. I mean, who is it you think we are? Do you think we are? What is a flat earther to you?
I think it's either way, depending if you're looking at it from science or biblical, either an infinite or God-centered universe. Basically, that which is infinite is in the middle. It expands toward nothingness. So it's like a concave model, but not really. It's not like a cellular concave or anything. So
I don't know what you mean. So is this what you think the Earth is? You think it's some sort of concave? Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what I see. It's a container. It's filled with liquid. And it levels out. So I call it a level plane. That's what flat Earth means to me. It's not a pizza dish or a pizza box or any of these cartoons that are out there.
Well, see, I look at it as, I think it's still rotating. I don't think it orbits. I think the orbit's ridiculous, but the rotation I don't see an issue with. I still think there's curvature, but I think the way we're measuring it and the tools we're using are not accurate enough to give us any type of number that we could use. So I think it's all speculative, including our own eyes. Like, I don't think they're sensitive enough to read what we would need to see in order to make a clear observation of what exactly the Earth's shape is.
So do you think the water's curving still then?
Do I think the water's what? Sorry, I missed it.
Curving? You think the water is still curving? Is
Yes.
it what? So you think it's concave, curving,
Yeah.
curving up the way?
Yes.
What practical examples would you have to make you think that?
Well, even if you were to take, say, like a bucket and hang it from a rope, like Newton did for his gravity theories, which I don't believe in, and when he's wound up the rope and let it go, and you see a bucket start spinning, you'll start seeing the water go up the edges. And even if you want to say, the South Pole is the south, and you still you're on the inside of a container, you would watch the water go upward, and if it was an actual rounded top, you could spin it fast enough where it would go all the way to the top, and you'd have a bulge of extra water still at the bottom. And we see that Antarctica is a very tall continent as far as like how much snow and ice would be in that location. And it might explain why people like Neil deGrasse Tyson see that there is a spherical or a pear shape more to the Earth, because you would start getting a very different shape that wouldn't be perfectly round. And you can replicate that type of force on water.
I can replicate putting water in a bucket and spinning it. I really have to spin it quite fast. So
Well, yeah, we're going 1,000 miles an hour. That is pretty fast. What happens if you spin water at 1,000 miles an hour? I mean, I'm not saying it has to be done from that force. I'm just showing that it can be done due to forces.
1,000 miles per hour would only be what you would call an equator again then. It would be slower the further away you go from that point, depending on what way it was spinning.
Yes. The water would climb the bucket. If you were spinning, like, say, an actual sphere, like dangling on a rope with water in it, you would see a lot of water going towards the equator.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're also assuming it's spinning to make the water curved. So what evidence do you have for spinning?
Okay. Well, I don't think that that's necessarily what makes the water curve. I'm just showing that that is one of the many options of what could curve water. But as far as what I think observation-wise is a reason for curvature would be the Eötvös effect, which is when you hang a weight on a spring and you measure how much spring tension you have on that weight. And when you move east to west versus west to east in the same location, no matter where you are on the Earth, you will get a different reading based on which way you're traveling. And the only way that is known to replicate what is being seen with that spring tension when that happens is by being inside of something that is spinning, such as like a gravitron at the fair. You could replicate that same thing.
Have you done these things? Have you done them practically?
No, they've been done a lot of times. I mean, the Eötvös effect has been one of those like repeated for 100 years experiments, and then with it changing how much force it is depending on how close to the equator versus a pole, it shows basically you get more of the effect at the equator because that is where you would expect the more
What did you
force.
say it was called? The Eötvös effect?
Eötvös. Eötvös. It has like the little two dots over the O's because I believe the guy was Dutch or German or something, and it's named after him. And I don't really care what their description of the effect is as much as the actual observation, which gave them what he wrote up as far as the effect, because the observation was based on a globe. So they started trying to talk gravity. And if you want to go that route, fine. I don't care. I'm just saying the observation is the observation, and it showed the only way we can replicate it is due to spinning. And the closer you are to a pole or the center, if you were inside or outside of a ball, the more that effect would happen, which is what happens when they do that observation.
So that measurement is based on a spherical geometry?
The measurement is based on if you were walking, say you were inside the gravitron at the fair, and the gravitron's spinning in a circle.
I don't know what the gravitron is, sorry.
That thing that sticks you to the wall, right? It spins in a circle, and you stick to the wall, and you're like stuck there, and then you know, it slows down, and you slide back, and you can go back to walking on the normal ground again.
Okay, got you.
I've seen people stick in the gravitron thing at the fair and it just flying everywhere. But
well, I'm only stating for the spring purposes here. If you were, they had one where I live that was straight up and down instead of, most of them kind of have a tilt to them as far as an angle on the wall. But basically, you can move something along that wall that's holding a spring with a weight. And if you move it one direction with the spin, you end up with a different reading than if you go against the spin. It's more or less spring tension based on which direction you're walking on that wall as it's spinning. And
based on the physical substance of the spring.
Yes, the spring gets
in a pressurized environment with temperature that would need to be contained, right?
The only difference of why it gets a different reading is based on whether you're going with or against the spin, since whether you do it in a vacuum or do it on a plane or do it on a boat or in a car, as long as the other factors as far as air pressure and stuff and nothing else is changing because you're in the same location, and it always changes the same way, east to west versus west to east, then I just think that's good enough reason for me to believe that there is rotation and there is curvature.
So do you feel anything at all? Do you feel any spinning?
No, but I also don't feel myself going ridiculously fast when I'm in a plane.
Yeah, but if you go into a gravitron, do you feel it spinning when you're in there? And then when you get out the gravitron
per minute.
But when you get out the gravitron and stand on the earth, do you still feel you're spinning?
If the gravitron was to spin at the rate of the Earth, I do not believe I could feel it.
If it was 3,500 miles in radius, a spherical ball, a testicle.
Well, it's a matter of how, if I put you on a bed and say you're laying down and you're on a merry-go-round and I spin you ridiculously slow and your eyes are closed and I do one rotation in 24 hours, did you feel it? Compared to if I just spin you as fast as possible, of course you feel it.
Oh, well, if I stand still and watch the sun rise and watch you go to the west, then I've also rotated 180 degrees and it took 12 hours as well. So, yeah, I could look at it that way. All I've done is turn to watch the sun go round.
Right, but you want it. My point is, you don't feel it. Of
course I do. I know I'm turning around.
Yeah, but if your eyes were closed and somebody was spinning you around and you were on something that was spinning, if they did it slow enough, your perception would not be able to pick it up.
No, hold on. We're on the outside of a ball, or we're in a contained gravitron. You've mentioned a contained bucket, but remember the argument is, or the claim is that we're on the outside surface of it, right?
That's their claim. I don't believe that's what's happening.
But I don't get, if this thing that you're talking about, why do the globe people not bring it as proof that there's spin to the Earth? And how do you get from that there's curvature?
Because the closer that experiment is done to the equator, the more that effect happens. So because if you were to get to the pole, because you're not going against a rotation as hard as far as the speed of what you're walking against, the effect lessens. So
if I was to use a spring weight mechanism, that means that things would weigh different weights depending on where I am. So again, we're back to this with the globe, that I could buy gold at the North Pole, take it to the equator, and it would weigh more.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying it's based on, it's not about where you are, as far as how much it weighs. If you were standing still, it's about how much against a rotation you are traveling. So at the North Pole, because you're not going against 1,000-mile-an-hour rotation like you would be at the equator, when you're traveling against a rotation at that speed at the equator, the effect is great. If
What's the
you're near the
consequence?
pole, it's spinning slower, so the effect is less. But it's based on your movement against.
You've equated spinning a bucket, which you would have to spin with serious force and speed to get the effects you're talking about. But then
Yeah, I don't think that's what you're doing.
So what would happen if I put a bucket and I only spun it once run in 24 hours?
Yeah, you would not stick much. No.
The water wouldn't stick into the inside the bucket, it would pour out.
I'm not saying that's what I think's happening. I'm just saying there's a way. You asked for an example of how you could get water to do it. One of many examples. You could do it with pressurized systems if you wanted. I mean, there's ways to make it happen. I'm not much for the water always finds its own level. I can pour a glass of water in front of my face right now, start dropping pennies in it, and then I can see water tension that goes above the rim, and it's not level, and there's a curvature in it.
But it's still in a container.
Yeah, it's all based on what it's in, what forces are acting upon it.
Well, what other forces would be acting upon it? I mean, we're talking about reality, everyday life. Water has to be contained.
Yeah, you've just invoked a number of fallacies there, my man. I'm not exactly sure where you're going with the conversation, but we've talked about contained rotations, and you're misrepresenting the claim that we're on the outside of it, yeah, and the thing's spinning, yeah. I mean, it's not contained. So.
No, I think we're on the inside.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the heliocentric. You were going to shoot it down a minute ago.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let me
The
start
first
with.
part failed miserably, but
No, that's gonna be your opinion. I think the Eötvös effect stands very strong in a rebuttal against flat.
no, it's an analogy that's tried. It's assuming various things that I'm not saying you see them. Maybe you don't. I don't know, but it's assuming spherical geometry, and you're bringing false analogies to the table.
I'm saying the only way we know to replicate the force. I've asked many of people. If you are the guy who can give me a secondary version, I'm glad to hear it. There's only one way I've ever found that force can be replicated, and it's done with spin. And for it to adjust in that way based on where we do it on Earth, it would have to be a sphere. So if there's another
Assuming a sphere, doing a proof, and then using that to prove it's a sphere, that's circular, man. Sorry.
And then you're talking about buckets of water, but then saying, but things only spin once in 24 hours, so you wouldn't feel it. So your analogy about the bucket of water would have to be that would be one spin in 24 hours. And then you're saying, well, water causes...
You're conflating two different issues now. We're talking two different things. I'm just saying you can shape water to be in different...
You can shape water?
Well, you can put forces upon water that change what it does to the shape of what it will look like. We know that to be true. That's all the bucket of water was meant
to Can you get a standing body of water that can form the exterior of a shape, or can you get a standing body of water that can form to the inside of a shape, all the way around the full inside of the shape?
No, they'll try to by getting it to spin, hoping that water will change its physical properties. But yeah, no, I'm not buying it.
Well, I believe if you were to take the same analogy, like say you took a Christmas ornament and it's a ball and it's glass and you can see through it, and you were doing the parabolas that NASA likes to fake with their planes and say they're in space, and you say, okay, they're doing these parabolas. It looks like zero gravity or zero buoyancy or whatever you want to call it out based on your beliefs, don't care. And you took that ball and you had just a little bit of liquid in it. If you spun that ball while it's in that parabolas, everything looks weightless, like, okay, go video.
I'm going to come in.
The water stick.
You're misrepresenting claims. Earth's not in a parabola. Earth's not inside an aeroplane.
I'm stating that if there is buoyancy and gravity on the Earth, whatever you want to call it.
If I get a sphere and I put water in it and I spin the sphere in one direction, the water's going to go round to that point. It's not going to conform round to the inside of the full sphere.
If you've removed outside pressure or gravity, to not interfere with the experiment, it would go against the
Do we live
inside
in pressure?
of that gas perfectly.
Do we live in pressure?
That'll be all that dark matter from outer space. These forces that are making
Well,
it happen. Is it?
I don't believe there's dark matter. That's why I don't believe in the heliocentric model.
But we can't talk about objective reality and the elements and stuff that we live in, and then try and remove some of the elements in order to create the thing that you're trying to argue with. I mean, that's just not how it works. It's how do you
So
think?
you have to remove the forces of the Earth in order to have a smaller representation of the Earth, have only its forces show a representation of what the Earth is doing.
Say that again.
It's a matter of, if you have a large object that is creating any type of force, I don't care if it's due to buoyancies, pressures, gravity, if it is still having...
Gravity's not a force. Not a proper one, anyway.
I understand. I'm stating it for the people who are out there who are the Globers. I'm not one of them. Don't care. I'm putting it out there as we know there's a force. We see it on this Earth. We are on the ground. We are stuck to the ground due to this force. If you do not do something in order to negate that force on the experiment that you're doing to represent the Earth, then you cannot do an experiment that represents the Earth.
Well, there's no science then.
No there.
There's no science.
That's exactly how science works. You have to take out for any factor that could be affecting your experiment's results, other than the aspect of the experiment you're trying to prove or disprove. If you don't do that, you don't have an experiment.
Oh, hey.
Hey guys, it's just me, Timothy Osman. I was really lonely today, and I was trying to get on the Dogmatic Delve show, because it did say that all Globers were invited, even Timothy with his little ankles here. I think they're absolutely beautiful. But anyway, guys, don't touch that dial, because we are actually going to smoke with Timothy Osman. I am live here. We do have proof of the inverse curvature here. If you can see that, I'm making observations here with my bike there. Anyway, oh yeah, they're all gone anyway, guys. I just wanted to speak with Del because he seems to still deny what he thinks he's speaking, as in natural science, as in logic, as in the Socratic method. Del has never refuted anything that anyone has ever said in refutation to what he says. He just calls it sophism, a word that he learned from yours truly, Timothy Osman. All right, so anyway, guys, today, what you guys would like to see and hear, see what the old wallet's doing here. Anyway, guys, we got some sick ass stank. Now this is gonna be 2 grams of some different shit there. It's I don't really need to carry that much on me. I mean, 2 grams of fucking oil, like that'd last me a couple days at least, right? So anywho, guys, all these people are leaving, and I just wanted to talk to all 300 of you and just let you know that Del has never refuted a thing that anyone has ever said. This is Smoking with Timothy Osman. I gotta rip this real quick. Yep. Well, thanks, Del, for having me on, letting me use your little shill platform or whatever. Everybody turn down your volume. I'm sure he's saying that. He's got to keep his echo chamber intact. That's why I didn't invite old P. Mars and old Timmy Osman on today. It's kind of silly of him, really. He still doesn't refute anything about geodesy. He has no idea what inclination is. He has no idea what any kind of level is except the spirit level, because it has to do with his little godified water or whatever. But anyway, guys, this is really silly. I think you can tell that without people to come on and have a contrary belief than Del's, he has absolutely no content. You know, he can sit here and go over his usual rhetoric, but that's all he's for, man. I don't know if my camera's working, guys, but hopefully you can see this golfer here. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on one sec. We'll say the earth is flat right before she swings. Hold on. Earth is flat. Oh, yeah, she fucked up. She hit that tree over there. Anyway, guys, I hope you could see that, man. I'm just documenting this as I've kind of have this 5 minutes to myself here. You know, like I said, I was just riding my bike, and I just wanted to basically show the inverse curvature of the Earth or whatever. But, yeah, you know, water's flat. Okay, well, you know, he's still never talked about the longest lines of sight or Soundly's stuff at all. He's never done the math to see if it corroborates with the sphere model that he says. He's not biased, guys. He's not dogmatic at all. But he says it's 100% not a sphere. Okay, that's how delusional dogmatic Dell is, guys. I mean, it's kind of sad at some point. That's why I tried to help him, you know. But there's only so much you can do, you know. Plus, he's such great entertainment. It's like it's hard to just, you know, actually convince him that it's not a fucking flat little plane, little pipe dream, you know. Because really, you ask him about how there is a varying pressure system on Earth and how that works in his little pressurized dome, flat Earth bullshit, and he has nothing to say, guys. You know, like, do an experiment here on Earth. They'll, like, you pour water on a ball to prove it, right? That's not a sphere. Do an experiment here on Earth that shows a varying pressure system inside of that ball, all right? Because that's what we're living in. See, as you go up into the clouds, it's known. It's known that the fucking atmosphere is on a gradient. Anyway, guys, glad Dell had me on. It doesn't really matter if he gives me the link or not. I wouldn't have sniped him before, but his actions are irreprehensible. He needs to change the title